Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Joining me now is Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
On Monday, you joined former President Donald Trump in Manhattan for his criminal hush money trial. Can you first talk about what that experience was like?
Well, myself, Senators J.D. Vance and Tommy Tuberville, we met the president at his residence at Trump Tower, drove with him in the motorcade to the courthouse, and stood with him. Some of my initial observations were they wouldn't allow us to stand with the president when he addressed the media in the morning. And they wouldn't allow us to approach the media to answer questions that they've had of us, which I found interesting. It seemed the court officer said it was a security issue and it was not within their control, that this was directed to them. So it seems to me that the judge, the DA, that they've tried to do everything they can to hinder the show of support for President Trump. So we were at the courthouse. We watched the trial. At the time, this was a star witness, right? Michael Cohen, who is a convicted, disbarred perjurer, lied to Congress, pled guilty, and was convicted of perjury. He is a star witness, and the entire time I was waiting for some type of shoe to drop or some type of smoking gun or bombshell, and it didn't come. There was no evidence that was provided by Michael Cohen, the star witness, that shows that President Trump committed a crime.
Can you take us inside the courtroom once the trial was underway on Monday? What was the mood like? What was the temperature like? Take us inside.
Yeah, look, it's a very dreary, dark courthouse. I mean, I kind of compare it. It's a cross, I guess, between like a police precinct and a shabby nursing home. That you would see maybe seniors that aren't treated so well. That's kind of what it reminded me of. It was dark. It was dreary. It was cold. And I will say that despite being subjected to sitting in this courtroom for so many hours a day for weeks now, President Trump's in good spirits. He's positive. He seems mentally and physically healthy and well and fit. He's energetic, and it's surprising, I think, to a lot of people because people are shocked. I mean, this would be very emotionally and mentally taxing for most people, but President Trump is showing why he is such a strong leader. I think from another perspective, as a New Yorker, I find it very sad that this is occurring when our city is in such disarray. We have crime that is rampant in New York City, particularly in the borough of Manhattan, which Alvin Bragg is the district attorney. And at a time when you have kids being peddled poison by drug smugglers, you have illegal immigrant gang members that are committing tons of crimes, from robbery to stabbing to murder in the city, and you have career repeat offending criminals that are 20, 30, sometimes even 40 prior arrests being released back onto the street. You would think that our district attorney, Alvin Bragg, would have more of a focus on keeping New York City streets safe, protecting the actual citizens, than wasting taxpayer resources and time going after a political opponent, which I will tell you, New Yorkers see that this is a sham prosecution. My constituents see it. And one big observation is the immigrant communities that I speak with, that I represent. I spoke with the Chinese population, the Albanian population, the Egyptian population, and they say, this is reminiscent of what they fled, okay? Because this is what you see in socialist, communist, and third world countries, political opponents being prosecuted to be silenced. It shouldn't be happening here in the United States of America.
In remarks yesterday outside of the courthouse, you shared similar sentiments. You ripped DA Alvin Bragg. You called this a sham trial that was, quote, based on a star witness that is a convicted, disbarred perjurer who lied to Congress multiple times. I'm assuming you're talking about Michael Cohen there. But did Donald Trump ask or direct you to say any of those comments at all?
No, as a matter of fact, I I was the one who told President Trump that I wanted to join him at court to show my support when I saw him at the rally in Wildwood, New Jersey, Saturday night. And he welcomed me, said, meet us at 8 o'clock. I'm doing this on my own because I truly believe what's happening is unfair, and it's happening in the city that I represent. And I'm very disenchanted, like I said, most New Yorkers that I talk to, about this political prosecution when there are so many crimes, real actual crimes, that are being committed in this city that this district attorney has either reduced or dropped charges for. And to say that, sitting there, it's reaffirmed my belief that this president's being politically prosecuted because I didn't hear any evidence this entire time from the star witness. So it's very telling, and I hope that the jury was paying attention. And I am concerned about the ability for President Trump to get a fair trial in Manhattan court when this is a borough where roughly 85% of the people voted against him. How does he get a fair trial from his peers when 85% don't like him?
I know you said he seemed to be in good spirits. To your knowledge, yesterday, did you talk to him after court yesterday? What was he like? Can you give us any insight into that conversation?
Well, I spoke with him when we were going to the courthouse, and then we had a break before lunch. I spoke with him over the course of lunch. I did not see him at the end of the day because I left the courthouse before the day ended. But during the lunchtime, I mean, he was, again, he's positive. He's obviously annoyed. He shouldn't be sitting there in this courthouse when he should be out campaigning and speaking to Americans about how he wants to restore common sense and sanity in this country. Because the reality is, as under this president, President Biden, we have seen so much of what President Trump has done dismantled, whether it be these 60 border policies that President Biden put in place that dismantled our border that was secure under President Trump, whether it's taking President Trump's peace through strength approach and now moving toward a appeasement of our adversaries that has now got us involved in 2 wars and has put our allies at risk. And whether it just be economic issues, right? We had the lowest unemployment, particularly among minorities and women, under President Trump. Now we're seeing that that's not the case. The economy is not strong. Inflation is still high. Gas prices are crushing Americans, energy costs in general, because of President Biden's anti-energy policies. And they also, whether it's a mortgage, you're talking about the highest rates in 2 decades. And people see how difficult it is to put food on the table and pay their rent under this administration currently. So that's what President Trump should be out there in the public talking about. He shouldn't be subjected to sitting in the courtroom for weeks over this sham trial. And I just think that I think Americans, I do believe that New Yorkers see through it. They see that this is politically motivated. I mean, just the timing, right? If they're talking about something that supposedly happened 8 years ago, and they decide now, when he became the nominee to run against Biden once again and was winning, to bring up this case, I mean, I think that in itself shows the motivation.
As we know, the former president is under a gag order. There have been lawmakers like yourself flanking him over the past 2 days, defending him, supporting him. Just today, Speaker Mike Johnson, Governor Doug Burgum, Vivek Ramaswamy outright slammed the judge today and the judge's daughter. Do you think those types of comments are okay?
Well, I think it's important for the American people to know that the judge's daughter is profiting and making a lot of money fundraising, using this trial as material for fundraising for clients, all Democrat. And that in itself, I think, seems very inappropriate, seems very corrupt, and seems just very inappropriate, okay, that his daughter is profiting and making money, right, getting a commission for fundraising, using this trial as the material for those fundraising activities. That doesn't seem appropriate to me, and I don't think it seems appropriate to the American people either. And it also shows that the star witness, by the way, and I was listening to a little bit of the commentary regarding today and the defense's cross-examination, showing that Michael Cohen as well is profiting off of this. He's selling T-shirts, selling, I don't know, mugs. It just seems that everyone's trying to make money off of President Trump, including the two women, by the way, who he had this so-called agreement with. It seemed to me that it's more an issue of extortion than something that he did wrong. And so it just seems the whole thing seems to be very unfair. It seems unjust, and it seems like just something that should not be happening. It should just not be happening in a respectable judicial system in the United States of America.
As you know, under his gag order, he's not allowed to talk about the judge's daughter. To your knowledge, I know you said that he didn't say anything to you, to say anything specifically. Has he said anything to anyone else to say these comments about the judge's daughter, the judge, the witnesses?
No, he has not asked or directed anyone to say anything. I mean, he just wants us to go out there and speak the truth, right? Again, he hasn't asked for us to do this. We chose and volunteered to do it because we believe it's the right thing to do. And I think we need to do what we can to educate the American people about what is going on here. And I think, again, the American people know what's going on here because his poll numbers are rising, particularly in the swing states. You're seeing his crowds at the rallies getting even larger. The Wildwood rally surpassing, they're saying, 100,000 individuals. So it seems that the American people see that this is unfair, see that he was targeted, and they don't like it. And as I said before, particularly immigrants, I think, mark my words, that he's going to do very well with immigrant groups in this election because they see what they fled taking place right here in the United States.
As I mentioned before, lawmakers like yourself, like Byron Donalds, J.D. Vance, Governor Doug Burgum, and vice presidential hopefuls have been showing their support defending the former president at the courthouse. Is there any indication, to your knowledge, of who we can expect next?
I don't know who may be coming next. I think obviously it's not really something that's announced beforehand, or you're supporting president at a very unfair trial. It's not something to be issued advisory for. This is when you show up, they notice you and it gets out there. But I'm sure we'll continue to see supporters of President Trump coming forward and being by his side during what's obviously a very unfair period for him. And we hope that this is over and done with soon so he can get back onto the campaign trail and speaking to the American people about the failed agenda of the Biden administration and how he intends to restore strong economic prosperity, secure borders, lower our gas prices and electric bills, as well as create more jobs as he did so successfully with his Tax Cut and Jobs Act.
We know that you are a representative from New York. Can we expect you to see you at the courthouse anytime soon?
Well, right now I'm back in Washington, and so we're here this week. We're also in session next week. So, if there's another opportunity over the next couple of weeks where we have a day not in session, and I perhaps may join him again. But I think I made my points yesterday. I think that New Yorkers know where I stand. The American people know where I stand. I'll continue to talk to media outlets like you about what I'm seeing because I am watching the trial very closely. But let's hope that this gets put behind us sooner rather than later, and we can move on.
Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, thank you so much for joining me.
Great to be with you. Thank you.